So it seems as though when it comes to your expense, you have to have a plan, right? When it comes to budget, you need to have a set plan to start off with, but you also need to revisit those plans as you continue to grow and your business continues to morph into whatever it is going into. Same thing I tell our clients at Tech Remedy for digital marketing, right? They think that we just give them one plan, and this one plan gets them all the lead generation, and then the lead generation are nurtured and mature into opportunities that now are becoming, paying clients. But that's not necessarily how it works, right? One way of lead generation and lead magnet can work well for you. That's one strategy, right? And then there's another strategy that may not work so well, but you practice in this different iterative, or look at me, tongue twisting. You practice and you get better. And you always got to go back to the initial plan.
Yep.
Always go back to initial marketing plans, see what worked, what didn't work, what can we improve on? And so it looks like that's what you're telling our entrepreneurs now. So to create those plans in the beginning, start off with them, see what works, what doesn't work as you continue to grow, and then fix what doesn't work and keep moving. So I really appreciate you for that. And then this brings me to I heard you say a lot about investments, right?
Yep.
This is a huge question here. What are some, maybe some investments options for entrepreneurs when they're looking to grow, their wealth? And this is in addition to them investing back into their business, investing into their employees. What else can they do to help, grow their wealth?
Chidera, this is a very area that is very dear to my heart, right?
I know.
And like I was telling you initially, we can use dates and months and years to tackle the topic of investment, but I'll try to be very terse and succinct. For me, investment is a lifestyle. You have to let it be part of your lifestyle, right? It is something that you have to consciously get yourself involved in, because the thing is, yes, you have a business. You want to grow your business, but you can diversify, and that is where investment comes to place. Generating multiple sources of income, not just for your business. If you look at the bigger organizations like the Fortune 500 companies, they have their core businesses that they run. If you look at Amazon has these core businesses, cloud solutions, delivery and all that, but they also engage in investments. Yeah. You look at Microsoft, you look at Tesla, all these Fortune 500 companies, they invest. How do they do that? They take a part of their proceeds and then invest. So they can invest with either an investment firm, they can invest with the government, they can invest with another corporation, which is called corporate bond, which we'll get into later on in our conversation. But this is what I will say. Before you start investing, you need to ask yourself, what do I need to achieve? You need to set a goal, right? As far as your investment is concerned, you need to set a goal. You need to also set a timeline. What we call investment time horizon, right? You have to ask yourself, how long do I want to keep investing? And then the third, which is perhaps the most important, is you need to ask yourself whether you are risk averse to investment or your risk appetite is very high, because not all of us have the same risk appetite.
Absolutely.
I will do an investment today, and then let's say tomorrow my investment will lose about 30% in value. And I would not be concerned. Maybe another person, that may be a
heart attack.
Exactly. Right? So we need to define what our risk appetite is, whether you are conservative or whether you are somebody who's, in investment sense, we call it bullish, right? Somebody who is very strong at investing and all that. And so as a business, there are various investment instruments out there. You can start off by looking at indexes. So indices are investments that track the performance of, let's say, the three most biggest indices we have in the US, so which is the S&P 500, the Dow Industrial Average, and then the NASDAQ, right? So the S&P 500 are the largest 500 corporations in the United States. So when you invest in an index, essentially you are investing into the largest 500 corporations in the US. think about it. You have been an equity owner in all these corporations. So that's what you do when you invest in an index. Now, when you invest into something like, let's say, the NASDAQ, you are investing into technologically oriented companies, which I encourage everybody to do. I mean, if you ask me, I would tell you to look for an index that match the NASDAQ, because you all agree with me that we are in a technological age. AI has taken over.
Absolutely.
People are doing amazing things with AI. So these are areas that you can look at. So you can look at an index, you can look at a mutual fund, you can look at corporate bonds, you can look at municipal bonds. So bonds is a typical kind of investment for people who are very risk conscious, right? They care much about their money. They don't want their money to lose in value. So they would want to do a corporate bond where they lend out some monies to institutions who want money to grow, right? So at my firm, for instance, I offer varied advices around corporate bonds, around index investing, around investing in S&P, or even if you want to invest using an independent broker. I have a couple of independent brokers that I can advise you to invest and then grow your money over time. However, this is what I would say in summary of how an entrepreneur can also invest. You need to have a plan. What you want, what your risk appetite is, right? And then you also need to seek advice, because investment is a very tricky. I mean, sometimes you think, oh, I can just go out and then buy a particular stock and all that. I mean, for me, I started off as an equity analyst where I was analyzing different stocks, right? Their performances and tracking all these investments. We do a lot of work by digging deep into the financial health of the company. So you need to seek a professional who would advise you what kind of stocks you want to invest in, what kind of bonds, commercial paper, certificates of deposit that you want to invest into, so that you can grow and multiply your money over time, right? And lastly, I would say investment requires patience. You need to be patient. You don't have to panic. I mean, any kind of investment you do, you don't have to panic. Just have patience and then see your money grow over time.
Absolutely. No, that was great. I really love the part where you're talking about the different areas of investment, from stocks and bonds, and breaking those things down, index funds. Because a lot of people we hear the word, and maybe even people that are 9-to-5ers, they have it in their 401k bundled in. They don't even know what they're actually being, their funds are being invested in. There's something I've also heard about, and this is something I encourage entrepreneurs, that you have reoccurring money coming into the business now, and you can let me know your stance on this as well. Opening a what's it called? SAP or self-funded.
Yeah, self-funded.
I encourage people all the time, if you have a business venture and your business is actually making money, go ahead and let your business, because people, especially our people, right? We have one bank account for our business, and that bank account is our operation account, it's our tax account, it's our everything account, our expense account. And so I learned recently from reading a book, I forgot what book it was, you should have they recommend having different accounts for different purposes. The account for taxes, an account for expenses, an account. This is where that planning that you've been mentioning comes in place. And also leveraging the knowledge and expertise of professionals such as yourself and the services that you provide at your organization to help entrepreneurs and even regular people that have 9-to-5 jobs and things of that sort to better plan and invest, make proper investments that will help yield greater returns. And another great pointer that I really enjoyed that you mentioned was knowing your risk assessment, right? Am I risk adverse or not? Can I afford to lose 30% and not have a heart attack? Things of that sort. It's something a lot of people don't ask themselves. And because of the world that we live in, technology has, been great in helping people to have access to not make investments on their own. They have taken the bull by the horn and they're just doing it themselves without any proper guidance. So I'm really happy that you're able to share that information with us today. And I encourage people to definitely, if you have an entrepreneurial and venture and your business is making money, maybe leverage your business's fund, because I think businesses can create like an IRA or.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, can you speak a little bit about that, please?
Like, I just want to touch a little bit on the multiple accounts that you talked, and I'll just trickle it into that. Now, businesses, of course, as a business, as an entrepreneur, you need to have multiple accounts. There's something we call a contingency account. Now, businesses they evolve through time. There are ups and downs for businesses. There are occurrences that just happens to your business and then you've not planned for it. So, for instance, a few days ago, I was talking to a friend of mine who is into real estate in Dubai. And I'm pretty sure you know what has happened in Dubai. I mean, a couple of years where they receded the cloud and then Dubai became. And this friend of mine, he has a couple of properties that he hasn't really insured those properties, right? I mean, for some reasons. And then currently, I mean, when we spoke, he's really down. But you know, I remember when he was starting this, I spoke to him about having a contingency account where he can invest for unforeseen situations, you know, like this, right? So a contingency account allows you to pull money for times like this when you haven't prepared for it. Because, like I said, we all evolve, we all go through difficult times as businesses, you know, and that is what a contingency plan will do. Now, as a business, you also need to set some money aside to let that money grow for your business. You have to invest on behalf of the business, right? If you are a self-employed person, you need to have something we call a self-directed 401k, right? It can be like a retirement account. You need to set up a retirement account for yourself, right? Because you would want to have a certain lifestyle after retirement, right? You need to plan your estate planning. You need to do succession planning. I mean, if you want to go full-time exit or you want to go a partial exit where so all these things need to be planned because you envisage a particular lifestyle that you want to see. So the earlier you start planning, the earlier you start investing for your business. Now, there is a distinction between investing and saving. A lot of the time we use them interchangeably. I mean, savings account, typically, if you look at it, I mean, the returns on savings account are just nothing to write home about, right? But when you take investment, you take that conscious effort, you know, to grow your money at compounding. Like some of the indices I talked about, you can invest with as little as $20, $30. You can set up a standing order on your account where money moves your account into your index account. I did that with a company. I don't want to mention the name of the company so that I look like I'm advertising the company. I did it. You know, I drink a lot of coffee. So I did that so what I did was, if I go to Starbucks and then buy, let's say, a coffee, which costs about $3.50, right? Guess what? They will round the number to the nearest whole number, which is like $5. And 1.50 goes into my investment account with this firm. And I did that for 3 years, came back into my account, I looked at it, I was amazed at how my money grew at compounding. Because some of the industries, your money grows at compounding, right? It kind of multiplies over time.
You know, I'm going to ask you what the name of the company is. You know, because like, wow, no, that's amazing. And we both go to Starbucks often.
Yeah.
And I've never, like, wow.
Absolutely. You know, so all these, there's a lot of information out there, right? But you need the right information on how to invest. You know, just make that conscious effort, see it as a lifestyle, and then take advantage of. There's a lot of retirement account that I set up and manage for my clients, right? Wow. Some of them over a period of time, they look at how much they've made on their retirement account and they are amazed, right? Yeah. There's a lot of investment accounts that I've set up for businesses, for small businesses, for large businesses, and they are amazed about how much the returns looks like a couple of years down the line. So you have to make that conscious effort. You have to plan. You have to ask yourself questions. What kind of lifestyle do you want to see? What do you want to achieve? What is the time horizon? What is your risk appetite? All these things would help you plan accordingly.
Yeah. No, I think this is amazing. This has been really great. And I think, honestly, from what you've said, I've just gathered so much information, especially the Starbucks one, because I go there all the time, and I would love to. I've heard, yeah, I've heard of different organizations that do that, and sometimes I have meetings with, potential clients at a restaurant, and I'm taking care of them. Now, one thing I did make sure I do is I got a business credit card, right? And everything for business is used, that's for business. And anything for personal to separate, that's another thing people need to do. You need to, part of what we've talked about, having those different bank accounts, you need to have a real bank account for your business. And you have to learn to use what is for business, and personal for personal. So no, this has been really great. I think, let's take one more question, I guess, and then we'll be wrapping up. What are, which one is better? How important is it for entrepreneurs to track their financial progress and adjust their adjust their strategies accordingly? Or I'll let you pick this question.
Okay.
Or what are some key financial milestones that entrepreneurs should aim to achieve on their path to financial freedom?
Okay, yeah. So I'll start with the second one. I'll talk about the second one. Now, I touched a little bit about it in the initial conversation. Now, like I said, free cash flow is a very important aspect of business planning. Or let's say maybe another time we'll talk about how leveraging on debt as a business, you can leverage on debt to grow your business, right? Now, when you leverage on debt, when you're trying to leverage on debt, one of the key things creditors look out for, they look at the free cash flow, right? Every business, you have to make that conscious effort to see growth in your free cash flow. In other words, if last year your free cash flow was, let's say, $1,000, right? You need to make that conscious effort to grow your free cash flow to, let's say, $2,000 or $2,000 next year. Right. And the way to do that is some of the things that we talk about, reducing your cost drastically, items that you don't pretty much need, cutting down costs drastically. That is how you can achieve your free cash flow. And also investments, right? Engaging in investment. When you invest in the stock market, when you invest in government bonds, municipal bonds, all these things adds up to your free cash flow. So an important milestone that I would talk about is to strive to grow your free cash flow year on year as a business. Grow your free cash flow. That is how you can leverage on it, especially if you are somebody who wants to leverage on debt to grow your business. So your free cash flow should be an important aspect of your journey. Very, very important. Very, very crucial. So that is an important milestone that I'll talk about.
Oh no, that's really dope. I really enjoy the fact that you have shared with me a lot of terminologies that I have not, and you've been able to define a lot of terminologies that I've heard, but I just didn't know exactly pinpoint in layman terms what they meant. So this has been great, honestly, Paul. And I really am appreciative of your time, your knowledge, your expertise, the tips that you have shared with us and nuggets you've given us today. What is a really great way for people to get in touch with you? I know we have here your email, but anything else you want to share?
So yeah, you have my email. I mean, I'm also on Instagram, which is _Pakabanten, which is the first initial of my first name, and then all of my last name, which is AKABANTENG. So _Pakabanten. I mean, you can reach me on Instagram. Instagram, I talk a lot on the capital market, investing, stocks. I put up some strategies on how to invest on stocks on Instagram. And then you can also reach me out on my email, which, it's out there. So these two platforms are where you can reach me. Yeah.
Awesome. And I know we have a follow-up conversation coming up with a whole different topic. but same energy. I'm excited. So I look forward to speaking to you shortly. And thank you so much again for your time today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure.
Likewise.